Now, when you look at the headdress, that's called a roach. What do you think it's made out of?
Today I'm gonna visit Booth Western Art Museum in Cartersville, Georgia. Specifically, wanted to see Kenny Rogers' exhibition. Apparently he was an avid photographer and nature lover. He was a famous country singer for many decades, starting from 1970s up to 2010, 2013. In 2013, he was inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame. However, I was really surprised to learn that there's a lot more to see in this museum. Yes!
Back in the saddle again.
This is so cool. I've never seen one of these before. So cool.
John Sexton was the assistant to Ansel Adams, later in Adams' career. So he taught him the Adams way. So when you look at this image of Kenny, you see that he said he loved to be out in nature, but also the fact that he didn't have to worry about his hair. He didn't have to worry about what he was wearing, you know, as far as like he does when he's entertaining. And the wide view camera that he is showing us here was a decision that he made because he wanted to have the exact same equipment Ansel Adams had. And even John Sexton said, there's better cameras now. And he said, oh, no, purist that I am, right? Arts and artisanship of each of the regions of the American Indians. So we're talking about the Northwest. We're talking about the Southwest. You go into the plateau, you go into the Great Plains, into the Great Lakes, and then finally into the woodlands, the southern woodlands like the Cherokee and the Seminole Indians. Now I want to point this one out because it's very early pre-trade. So that means there is no beading on it because we got trade, beads through trade. And if you look at it, these are porcupine quills. You see? That's how they decorated. You can come around to the side, you can really see the design. So this is how they decorated their clothing with porcupine quills. Aren't they beautiful? All that. What they do is to flatten the porcupine quill, and how they did that was literally they soaked it, made it flexible, and then the women would put it in their mouth and pull through their teeth to get it flat, so that they could create these bands. And so they used sinew from the bison to like thread, and they created them. Aren't they beautiful? And the bear claw necklace that you see, we're gonna see a painting by George Catlin, and he has many of those things in it. And what is that? That's probably horsehair. Thing is, these are by George Catlin, and they are on long-term loan from the Smithsonian. That's one of the benefits of being a Smithsonian affiliate. And so when we look at this gentleman, that's why I pointed out. Do you see the bear claw necklace? Very much like the one we saw upstairs. But we know he's been exposed to trade because he has metal earrings, and they did not produce metal. They traded for metal, cooking pots, knives, hatchets, all kinds of things, plus ornamentation. Another thing that is traded for would be the beads, because they came from Europe, and they were so much easier to create decoration on your clothing than the porcupine quills. Now, when you look at the headdress, that's called a roach. What do you think it's made out of? Porcupine quills. So yeah, and not feathers. It looks like feathers, doesn't it? But it has this deer, white-tailed deer, and they dye it red, to go with it. It's attached to the scalp lock in the very back. And that was a pretty popular headdress, much more popular than, say, the war bonnet that you see there with the Layton, Catherine Layton, and her piece. Now, many of you know who the Cowboy Artists of America are. They're a private club. It was started in the mid-1960s, and it was 4 men in a bar in Sedona drinking. And so they decided that modern art was taking over and that they wanted to promote Western art. And so they decided they would have an exhibition once a year. They still do. What is interesting is that they were given accolades for bringing Western art back from the 1960s to the 1990s. They really pushed hard for it.
What a wonderful museum. Felt like I could spend whole day inside to see everything. Wonderful, just absolutely wonderful. After exploring this amazing museum, I decided to visit a state park, Red Top Mountain State Park, which was nearby, approximately 6 miles away. I wish I planned for this. Oh well, at least I get a chance to see it. Beautiful. I'm going to do one of the trails, so I can park anywhere, right? Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to do Whitetail Trail and maybe Sweet Gum Trail. These are short trails, so we'll see how it goes. So to summarize this park, I think it's a wonderful, beautiful state park. It's fairly large, over 1,000 acres. Bunch of hiking trails. I only did one whitetail trail. It's not too long. Out and back, I think it's total 2.4 miles. And it's fairly easy, flat. Lake Allatoona on the Red Top Mountain.